Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's lovely to see you all again today. Well, it's Tuesday and that means only one thing. It's LoveCrew Book Club Day. And so here we talk about love and we read books written about love. I feel love is so important. We are love, aren't we? And so I feel that the more we know about it, the more we know how to express it for our highest good and for others' highest good, we will maybe be able to turn this world into something where we can all live a happier, healthier life. And I think it is so necessary right now. Our world seems so crazy. So love is so important. And so in the previous episode, we looked at the idea that love has many deterrents, but love will not be deterred, we learned. Love flows like the river, always itself, yet ever-changing, recognizing no obstacles. So let's dive right into chapter 6, titled To Love Others, You Must First Love Yourself.
This chapter begins with a lovely quote by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. "We are one after all, you and I. Together we suffer, together exist, and forever will recreate each other." Then Professor Buscaglia states that you can only give to others what you have yourself, and that this is especially true of love. You cannot give what you have not learned and experienced. Since love is not a thing, it is not lost when given. So you can offer your love completely to hundreds of people and still retain the same love you had originally. He compares it to knowledge, saying the wise man can teach all he knows, and when he's through, he'll still know all that he has taught. But first, he must have the knowledge. Therefore, it would better be said that man shares love as he shares knowledge, but he can only share what he possesses. Professor Buscaglia reminds us that loving ourselves doesn't imply an ego-centered reality. Rather, loving oneself means a genuine interest, caring, concern, and respect for oneself. To care about oneself is basic to love. We love ourselves when we see ourselves with accuracy, genuinely appreciates what we see, but is especially excited and challenged with the prospect of what we can become. Each of us is unique. Nature abhors sameness. Each flower in the field is different, each blade of grass. Roses, even among the same variety, are not alike. Professor Buscaglia continues, saying no two faces are exactly alike, even in identical twins. He reminds us that our fingerprints are so singularly ours that we can be positively identified by them. But, he says, humans are strange creatures. Diversity frightens us. Instead of accepting the challenge, the joy, the wonder of variation, we're usually frightened of it. We either move away from it or endeavor to twist uniqueness into sameness. Only then do we feel secure. Professor Buscaglia adds that each child born is an unmarked creation, a new combination of wonder. In general, their human anatomy is similar to others, but on a subtle level, even how their anatomy functions will vary with each individual. Their personality development seems to have common elements which affect it: hereditary, environment, chance. But there is surely an additional element, not yet scientifically identifiable, which can be called the X factor of personality. That special combination of forces which act upon the individual so that they will react, respond, perceive as themselves alone. Children are exceptional, but most learning, which they will receive from birth, will not afford them the freedom to discover and develop their uniqueness. Professor Buscaglia continues, saying education is an imposition of what is called reality upon the child. Society, on the other hand, should be the agent through which his uniqueness is shared, for it is in dire need of fresh, new approaches to individual and group living. But society has the idea that what has been for centuries, even if it was not proven true, is the best way. This fallacy, if adhered to, leads individuality to its doom. Each child offers a new hope for the world, but this thought apparently frightens most people. Professor Buscaglia asks, what would society be like made up of all individuals? Would it not be unruly and lead to anarchy? He reminds us that we recoil in horror at this thought. We feel more comfortable with a silent majority. We distrust and suspect oddballs. Therefore, the family must make the child fit into the societal scheme of things, and education is afforded a similar role. It's most successful when it maintains the status quo, when it makes what we call good citizens. The definition of a good citizen is usually one who thinks, behaves, and responds like everyone else. Professor Buscaglia postulates that to love oneself is to struggle to rediscover and maintain your uniqueness. It is understanding and appreciating the idea that you will be the only one to ever live upon this earth, that when you die, so will all of your fantastic possibilities. It's the realization that even you are not totally aware of the wonders which lie dormant within yourself. Professor Buscaglia then states, love and the self are one, and the discovery of either is the realization of both. He continues, saying, this knowledge should give us our greatest challenge, the pursuit of self, our own personal odyssey. It should challenge us not only to be a good person, a loving person, a feeling person, an intelligent person, but the best, most loving, feeling, intelligent person we are capable of. Our search is not in competition with anyone else's. We become our own personal challenge. So loving yourself involves the discovery of the true wonder of you, not only the present you, but the many possibilities of you. It involves the continual realization that you are unique, like no other person in the world, that life is, or should be, the discovery, the development, and the sharing of this uniqueness. But, says Professor Buscaglia, the process is not always easy, for one is bound to find those who will feel threatened by a changing, growing you. But it will always be exciting, always be fresh, and like all things new and changing, never be dull. The trip into oneself is the grandest, most enjoyable, and longest lasting. The fare is cheap. It merely involves continual experiencing, evaluating, educating, and trying out of new behavior. Only you can be the final judge in determining what is right for you. Professor Buscaglia states that Western culture has been a culture of competitors. The worth of a man, he says, has always been measured by how much more he has than other men. If he has a larger home, a more powerful car, a more impressive formal education, he must be a better man. But, he continues, these are not universal values. There are cultures whose highest adulation goes to the holy man, the teacher, who has spent his lifetime in self-discovery and has nothing of monetary value to show for it. There are cultures who value joy and peace of mind over property and busyness. They hypothesize that since all men must die, whether poor or rich, the only real goal of life is the present joy and the realization of self in joy, not the collection of material things. He then states, when man has love, he is no longer at the mercy of forces greater than himself, for he himself becomes the powerful force. Loving yourself involves appreciating the value of you above all things. Loving yourself also involves the knowledge that only you can be you. If you try to be like anyone else, you may come very close, but you will always be second best. But you are the best you. It's the easiest, most practical, most rewarding thing to be. Then it makes sense that you can only be to others what you are to yourself. If you know, accept, and appreciate yourself and your uniqueness, you will permit others to do so. If you value and appreciate the discovery of yourself, you will encourage others to engage in self-discovery. If you recognize your need to be free to discover who you are, you will allow others their freedom to do so also. Professor Buscaglia states that when you realize you are the best you will accept the fact that others are the best they. But it follows that it all starts with you. To the extent to which you know yourself, and we are all more alike than different, you can know others. When you love yourself, you will love others, and to the depth and extent to which you can love yourself, only to that depth and extent will you be able to love others. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you for listening and for joining me on this journey about love. If anything has resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with friends you know might enjoy joining us as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below this video. Until next time, when we look at Chapter 7, to love, you must free yourself of labels.